IELTS process diagram. How to write this diagram process. So firstly, you should take into consideration that you may be given such types of pictures, and if you want to describe the picture, first you should understand whether it's a natural process or manufacturing process. Diagram questions are divided into two parts: manufacturing process and natural process. Manufacturing means if it is done by people, this is a manufacturing process, and all the process must be written in passive voice. But natural process about the sun, the moon, etc. This is a natural process, and natural process must be used in active voice. That's why natural process must be written in active voice, but manufacturing process must be done with passive voice. For example, you see this picture on the screen. Of course, this is not a natural process. Why? Because it is not related to the sun, the moon, etc. That's why this is manufacturing process. People make bricks. So people make bricks. Yani çerpizleri insan hazırlıyor da. For example, the digger, clay is digged out and it is sent to metal grade, blah, blah, blah. It is done by people. That's why all of this process is done by the people. As a result, they are manufacturing process, and you should write all of these sentences in passive voice. Okay, to summarize, you should understand that if you want to describe this process, you need three things. Firstly, you should learn passive voice normally, without any hesitation, without any mistake. Secondly, you should know sequential orders. What does it mean, sequential orders? So you see that there are a lot of processes here. The first process, second, third, etc. As you see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 process. So it means overall you are given 7 processes here, and these 7 processes is done. These 7 processes must be done by making sequential orders. That's why if you only say firstly, secondly, thirdly, fourthly, fifthly, of course you will not be given any good mark for your linking words. Why? Because you must know these linking words. For example, to begin with, then, following this, next, in the subsequent stage, then, after that, afterwards, followed by, finally. Okay, so you must use to begin with, to begin, following this, then, next, after that, before is written. For example, if you want to describe something like that, but before I have written here asterisk, and I'll explain that what is this, and subsequently and finally. If you use before, it means you will be mentioning a later stage before an earlier stage. Okay, so firstly, as I mentioned before, you must know these sequential orders. To begin, following this, etc. And after that, you need passive voice. All the sentences must be changed into passive voices. That's why don't say, for example, I don't advise you to write this sentence. For example, a large digger digs up the clay in the ground. No, I don't advise you. Why? Because passive voice is, more. So if you write passive voice, you'll be given more points than active voice. That's why, as much as possible, you should change all of your sentences into passive voice, because passive voice structure is accepted as a formal speaking and official speaking and academic speaking. That's why instead of saying a large digger digs up, you should say the clay in the ground is dug up by the digger. And also you should pay attention on its tense forms. All the tense forms must be in the present or maybe in the past. But so don't use one of them in the present, one of them in the past. No, don't mix up. Just use present tenses in order to describe this process. For example, to begin, the clay is used to make the bricks dug up from the ground by a larger digger. What else you should do? Baxın, bu da görürsünüz sadədir. It's a simple sentence. Bunu bir balaca da bəzəmək lazımdır. Görürsünüz, bu pis, baxın bu pisdir. Pis cümlədir, yəni zəif cümlədir. Bal düşmür buna. A large digger dig up. Buna yəni bu detikdir də belə deyək. Buna bal düşmür. IS-də. Bir balaca belə zənginləşdirdik. Bu da amma o deyil, yəni bu da val bir cümlə deyil, yəni. Və bunu daha belə deyim də samballı eləməkdən ötürü neynədik və bu cümləni yaratdıq. To begin, the clay is used to make the bricks is dug up from the ground. Which yazmalıyım prosta. To begin, the clay which is used to make the bricks is dug from the ground by a large digger. This clay is then placed onto a metal grid, yes, which is used to break. Gördünüz, başqa nə lazımdır bizə? Which, that, before, when, while, as soon as. Bunlar da həmçinin lazımdır. Demək ki, bizə 3 şey lazımdır. One, you must know passive voice. No, one, you must know sequential orders. Then next, following this, start with to begin. I don't know, following, afterwards. After that, let's say last but not least, finally. And after that, you must know passive voice, and you must try to coordinate or subordinate two sentences by using of conjunctions or reduction or relative pronouns. Okay, başka üçüncü nədir? Gəlin buna geniş biraz daha anlayış verim. Baxın, sequential order bildiniz. Passive voice-da zaten bilirsiniz. Bir dəfə də bunu təkrarlamışsınız. Okay, nəyi bilməyə bilərsiniz? Qarışdıra bilərsiniz. Reduction, relative pronoun falan bunlara. For example, I'll show you general information about relative pronoun reduction, something like that. For example, if you say, I'll write 3 sentences and I will show the difference between them. For example, Ali is my friend. This is a simple sentence. A simple sentence. Ali helping me in any condition is my best friend. This is a reduction sentence, a reduced sentence or reduction, you can say. Reduced sentence. And this one, Ali, who helps me in any condition, is my best friend. So this is who, okay? This relative pronoun. Relative pronoun. And the last one, it could be better if you write conjunctions. For example, Ali, who helps me in any condition, is my best friend. Therefore, I always support him, and I will never break my friendship with him as he has been loyal to me till today. right now we have very strong friendship bond, and nobody can make an obstacle for our relationship. Okay, this is a professional, academic, and long sentence. Academic and complex and compound sentence. Okay, so it could be better if you write such types of sentences in IELTS in order to show, in order to have more chances to show a lot of linking words, a lot of sentence structures, because if you only write the first sentence, this sentence, what will it show to an examiner? Ali is my best friend. What will it show? It's a simple sentence. That's why the examiner will not say that, oh my god, present simple tense. Probably the examiner will not say that. So that's why present tense form is not given, a chance. Present tense doesn't give a chance to a student to get more points. Okay, or reduction, it's not bad actually, or relative pronoun is not bad, but for the first one is professional, a long sentence, and by writing this sentence, what you can show to an examiner, you can show that I know conjunctions. I know both subordinating conjunctions and coordinating conjunctions. And also I have coordinated and subordinated many conjunctions in one sentence. As a result, again, and okay, right now we have blah blah and nobody can blah blah. Okay, I have written a lot of conjunctions here, and also I showed that. So I showed these linking words. I showed that while writing one sentence, I have written 5 conjunctions in just one sentence. What else I can show? I can show that I know some grammar points. For example, I know academic grammar structure. For example, has been loyal. This is present perfect. Okay, and nobody can make an obstacle of a relationship. Yes, who helps in a condition? Who relative pronoun. I showed that I know relative pronoun and I know present perfect. And also, thirdly, I showed that I know lines of vocabulary. For example, support you never break my friendship. Strong friendship bond, and make an obstacle. I made a collocation in order to get more points. Okay, by writing this sentence, I show that I know relative pronoun and present perfect. I know versions of vocabulary like collocations, break my friendship, have a very strong friendship bond, make an obstacle. And also I show that I know some linking words and conjunctions like therefore, and, as a result. Okay, but if I write the first sentence, what will I show to an examiner? Nothing. That's why it should be useless. Okay, students, did you understand? Students, do you have any questions generally? Yani sounds var bu adamına. No? Okay, if you don't have any question, let's continue to write also the describing process together with you. And I'll give you so please listen to me carefully. Why? Because after I explain you this type of essay, I'll give you another essay and you will start to write. For example, how can I write this essay? Okay, I have to start like that. Bax, bu inşanı necə yazaram? Sizlə gəlin bakım elə şey yazaq. Okay, bir dəqiqə. Bunun şəklini çəkim özümdə ki, şəkli 2 dəqiqədən bir çevirməyim. Siz də həmsin. Mən özüm çəkib qrup atacağım. Just a moment. Just a moment, bir dəqiqə. İndi bu kvalifikasiya atın, başlayaq bir yerdə köməkləşib yazmağa. Görək nəsə bir inşa çıxacaq. Okay, this one. Okay, indi isə baxın, inşan sizə də atdım. Siz də PDF-i özünüzdə açıb həmin şəkli izləyə bilərsiniz ki, mən görün necə yazıram. Siz də bu tərzdə yazacaqsınız. Okay, yəni PDF açın, Describing Process PDF-ni. Describing Process PDF-ni və belə ilk səhifədə həmin şəkli izləyin. Yəni bu şəkli, ekrandakı şəkli öz ekranınızdan, öz telefonunuzdan izləyin. Nəyə görürəm? Çünki mən hər dəfə şəkli çevirə bilməyəcəm də. Mən də sizin kimi telefonda şəkli qoyuram qabağıma və başlayım yazmağa. Getdik. Nə yazayım? To start, yaxud da to begin. To begin. Clay is dug up by tractors. The clay is dug up by tractors to make, to get raw material for making bricks. No, I'm so sorry. Birinci introduction yazaq. Hələ bir introduction yazaq. Sonra. Bunu hələ saxlayaq, ardınca gələcək. For example, you must say, the given process illustrates overall 7 stages of making bricks, starting with digging clay from the ground and ending up with delivering these bricks to destinations by large lorries. Okay, introduction'ımız hazır. Sonra ne yazıyı? Sonra ise yazıyı ki okay. Sonra ise keçəcəyik birbaşa baydivanımıza. Getdik baydivana yazırıq. To begin, clay is dug up by tractors. Is dig up from the ground by tractors to get raw material for making bricks and for making bricks. begin, clay is dug up from the ground by tractors to get raw material for making bricks. Just 1 minute, please. I'm sorry. Just 1 minute. Let's cross. Okay. Yes. İndi bax, bunu başladıq. Bu ilə başladıq, ha. İndi nə edəcəyik? Başlayacağıq sequential orderlar yaradan və passive voice cümlələrini deməyə. Bir dəqiqə şəkil açım özümdə. Demək, haradaydı? Ha. Describe the process, describe the diagram. Okay, making bricks. To begin, clay is dug up from the ground by tractors to get raw material for making bricks. Okay. And then this clay is sent to the metal grid. After that, water and sand and water are added. Are added to this metal grid. Ground. No. Just a moment. It's a diagram. To this grinded clay. Yani su əlavə olunur bu grinded clay'in üzərinə. Following this, yani bundan sonra following this, the next process. The next process is called process continues by leaving this mixture to wire cutter or mold in order to shape is in order to form a vermez, in order to give a shape of bricks rectangular, in order to give a rectangular in order to give a rectangular shape, in order to give a rectangular shape of bricks. Aha, bırakıcısı okeydir. Yeni de seçilə baxaq görək. Describing process. Görək növbəti stage-nə gəlir. Telefondan baxım deyə biraz narahatdır bu. Demək, Mauda da göndərildi. Sonra ox işarəsi drying ovuna göndərilir. Yəni qurutma demək makinasında belə deyil. After that, they are taken to an oven to be dried within 48 hours. Before sent to kiln. Before sent to kilns. Before sent to kilns. Aha, kilnə göndərməmişsən qabaq belə olur. Sonra başladıq danışmağa. Şişlə baxaq, yenə də kiln olur. Demək, burada isə nə prosesi olur? İsitmə prosesi olur. 200 dərəcə, görürsünüz, burada isitmə prosesi, sonra cooling prosesi olur. Cooling chamber'a sonra göndərilir. Next, they are heated with moderate degree and then is high degree before they are brought to the cooling chamber. As soon as they are cooled in chamber machine within during 48 72 hours 72 hours they are packaged last finally bricks are ready to be sent to stocks by lorries for being sold. Okay, hazır. How many words did I write? I wrote 170 words. Gördünüz inşamız hazır. Ne kadar söz yazdık? 170 söz. The given process illustrates overall 7 stages, blah blah. Making bricks, starting with digging clay from the ground and ending up with delivering these bricks to destinations by large lorries. To begin, clay is dug up from the ground by tractors. Bakın neler ettik. Sequential order yarattık. To begin, after that, then following this. Sonra after that 2 dəfə yazmışam, bunu dəyişsəm. Edəcəm. Subsequently then before next as soon as within finally okay for I used a lot of linking words and conjunctions and also what else did I do? I used reduction, passive voice of reduction. I used a lot of reduction. All the sentences are in passive voice. Is dig up, blah blah. You see that all of my sentences are in passive voice. And also I used this. Yes. Did you understand? What did I do? I used passive voice. I used sequential orders, and I wrote all of these processes in passive voice, sequential order, and I tried to make, let's say, complex sense, not for example simple sense. For example, there are 3 requirements. Firstly, you must write all the sense in passive voice. Secondly, you must know sequential orders to begin, following this, blah blah. Thirdly, you must make academic complex sentences, not simple sentences. For example, this one. To begin the biggest blah blah by blah blah for making 4 created, let's say 4 created compound sentence. Then blah blah. Then I have coordinated 2 sentences. That's why it made a subordinating conjunction. So subordinating sentence. That's why it is called a complex sentence. And after that, I used and in order to make a compound sentence. That's why this is both compound and complex sentence. So all of these sentences are complex compound sentences. That's why I avoided from using simple sentences in order to get more points. That's it. Do you have any questions, students?
No.